What's up guys, it's Johnny Candido of Candido Training.
HQ.
So I did not compete at Raw Nationals, as those of you who follow me on Facebook and Twitter know, but I know some of you on YouTube don't because I have not mentioned that yet. But I didn't compete at Raw Nationals, and this also is going to affect my plans in the future. So I'm going to do, as I talk over this, I'm going to show the most recent workout I had before I injured my lower back. So that is the cause. And it was completely random because it was just deadlifting, and it was as I lowered the weight that then the shock of it hitting the floor, for some reason, felt like it just set off my lower back, and it was around the lower back to SI joint area. And it felt similar to how I would imagine a pinched nerve feeling. Luckily, that is not a serious injury at all. It just came at such a bad time. And this workout, you'll actually see, I'm incredibly weak squatting for myself, only hitting 445 for a double, and that was actually really hard because that was actually the first workout with a belt and knee sleeves because I was still coming back from my knee and foot injuries. So basically what's happened is just all these injuries are compiling up from myself just pushing it a little bit too hard. So now I'm going to take some steps back, and I'm going to just squat light and squat 6 days a week. And that's to the advice of Chad Wesley Smith, who I talked at Raw Nationals, talked with, and he gave me some great advice. He gave me the advice to increase the frequency and to not underestimate how light you have to go. Because he was doing body weight squats, and he's a 900-pound squatter when he came back from a back injury that was a little more serious than mine. Since I didn't compete at Raw Nationals, I cannot compete at the Arnold, and I can't compete at Worlds, which is in Texas. So that's really unfortunate because I'm actually going to move to Texas pretty soon. Overall, I'm just not going to be competing in the IPF in general in a full year from now. All I will do is a USAPL meet possibly, and then of course Raw Nationals the next time that comes around. But I'm not going to be an IPF lifter. So since my deadlift actually benefits tremendously from a deadlift bar, and this was a plan I've had this whole time, I want to deadlift in a meet with a deadlift bar, and my goal is to go after the untested deadlift world record at 165, which is around 717, I believe, by Paul Nguyen, according to PowerliftingWatch. But then somebody else I saw showed a video of a Russian doing around 719. And then Paul Nguyen attempted 722 later on, and he missed that above his knees. Yeah! So overall, it looks like it would take about 725 at least by the time 2016 comes around to probably hit that record. On top of that, I want to try this at a head-to-head meet with Garrett Gonzalez of Masthetics, who's already pulled 700 pounds and looks like, he's obviously going to be up there near that world record. And I've talked to him about that via personal message before, but that was a little while back, and he said he was down for the idea, and hopefully if he can comment below, that then we'll see if we can actually get this rolling, because I think that would be awesome for YouTube Fitness to have such a big head-to-head competition, and since we're both more creative guys, we'd be able to make some pretty sweet videos, I think, leading up to that. So yeah, that's really it, is that with the deadlift, I personally found that deadlift bar really helps a lot, and as you guys saw in the comeback season video, I'm sure some of you may have missed it, I deadlifted 675 at 173, so while I was cutting, and at that point, you could see how weak my squat is now already. At that point, it was even weaker. It was probably 425, 435 for a true 1-rep max, and I was still able to deadlift 675 with the deadlift bar with my sumo stance. And I was able to get 710 pounds at knee level. Alright, check this out. I didn't even do this on the 710 deadlift. I use my normal stance width. But if I use a max stance width with a deadlift bar, since it's wider out, my range of motion just gets absolutely ridiculous. Now, I'll need some deadlift shoes, because this will definitely, it's a little bit hard with the sliding. But look at this. Look at how close that is. That should be a good binge. What my goal is going to be is to get my squat up to 500 pounds at least, specialize in the squat, and then I will change over and then start focusing on the deadlift. But until I build that base of strength through squatting, I'm not going to jump straight to that, as I believe that would increase my odds of injury. So overall, it's really exciting for me. I can only imagine if I can pull that much with my squat being like about literally 150 pounds below what it has been at before. I can only imagine then what I'm going to be able to pull at full strength. But also, I don't want to be the guy who talks about everything in theory in the future and talk shit on deadlift bars saying how much it helps. I find it helps, to me it feels literally like 50 pounds, so I'm going to do a deadlift bar meet. You know, I'm not going to keep it to theoretical so that then I can get that credit regardless. I'm going to actually put it to the test. So that's it, guys. I'm ending this video with a meal example that I had after this workout, and I'm going to use that to transition into talking about my diet and how I cut down a full weight class.
Man, fuck a shooting star. Biggie died, they shot a star. Who you know in West LA? Bring that ruckus to MA. Jeez.